guys, it's Morgan coming to you with a story time. I promised you guys this story time if you've been watching the Schlogs and been paying attention on Facebook and Instagram. You know that I promised a story time about these two motorcycles. So let's start at the beginning of the drama, really. So back about a month ago, we went as a family to go race the Natarita round of the Weeby Hare Scrambles. And Ewan was riding this bike over here, the General E, number 10, KX100, and after 2 laps, the thing completely blew up. It actually ran back to the van, which is incredibly amazing. Like, I can't even believe it, but it got back to the van, but it had completely chewed up the piston and run aluminum through everything. So I knew that we had our big trip to South Dakota a week after that, or 2 weeks, excuse me, 2 weeks after that. So I scrambled, I found parts. We got a new crank, new cylinder, new bearings, new piston, everything brand new. Stayed late, got the thing done, rebuilt it. It was awesome. Got the thing rocking and rolling. Went up to South Dakota. We tried out the brand new, to me, well, as a new hitch carrier, the Ultimate MX hitch carrier for motorcycles on the back of the van, so I could take an extra bike, so we'd have 4 total. And I made it all the way up there. The kid rode all 3 days in South Dakota. He rode like just a machine. It was awesome. Had a great time. Made it all the way back here to this shop, and when we got here and got out, there was no KX100 on the back of the van. I can't describe the pit that developed in my stomach and in my soul. We had checked the thing over and over and over again. It had never felt loose. It had never felt like it moved at all. It was perfect the whole time, so I don't know. Anyway, it's gone. And we had stopped in Grand Junction, or Clifton actually, to get gas. None of us walked to the back of the van to check it that time because we just wanted to be home. But my son Thomas was pretty sure he remembered it there, but we weren't 100% sure. So I took my wife and my older boy home, dropped them off so that she could call the State Patrol and figure out what to do. And my younger boy and I drove back. And we drove all the way back to Grand Junction, and we looked and looked and looked for the thing on the side of the road. We took every inch of that road, we scanned it, and we couldn't find it. So we get home. I figured, well, it's gone. Who knows? It could have fallen off. You know, we weren't 100% sure it was there in Junction, so it could have fallen off anywhere between like Baggs, Wyoming, and here. So we figured it's gone. So I'm sick to my stomach. The poor kid is just super bummed out, but in the midst of me being really angry at myself and the whole situation and wanting to throw things through windows, my 12-year-old son comes up to me, gives me a huge hug. He says, "Dad, it's okay. Everything happens for a reason," which, you know, is probably one of the most mature things anyone could have said, and it came from the youngest member of the family. So that made me cry a little bit, and then feel like, well, I absolutely have to get this kid a new bike somehow, so we can keep riding for the summer. And we actually had a race the following weekend, so we only had 1 week to sort something out. Well, actually less than a week, because that was a Monday, and the race was that next Saturday and Sunday. So as you guys may or may not know, I don't know when you're watching this, but if you're watching this in 2021, you know that the COVID-19 situation has made it to where there are no bikes anywhere for purchase. It's nuts. Especially no mini bikes, and especially no mini 2-strokes. So I call our local dealer here, Davis Service Center. They're awesome folks. It's where I buy all my bikes. And I asked the owner, I said, "Lincoln, do you have any KX100's? He's like, "Yeah, no, sorry, I don't." I told him the whole story. And I said, "I need to get one. If you can find one, used one, whatever, let me know. I'll deal with it, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll let you know." So I'm sitting there racking my brain. I'm looking online. There's no used ones. There's no new ones anywhere. And then Lincoln calls me the next day. He says, "Hey, Morgan," so this would be Wednesday. He calls me. He said, "Morgan, I just got invoiced for a KX100. I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know. He's like, "What that means is that it's on a truck. Like, they only send me an invoice when the thing's actually coming this direction. We don't get it until it's on a truck moving this way. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah, it could be up to a week and a half, 2 weeks, you know, but it's coming. I'm like, all right, well, put my name on one. You know, how much are they? He's like, MSRP is $4,800. I'm like, okay, whatever. So now I'm like, well, I got to raise $5,000 somewhere to get this thing. So, you know, without having to pull money out of the bank. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm sitting here in the shop, and sitting right behind me was my YZ250, my '07 YZ250 with the electric start and all the cool guy stuff, and like one of my favorite bikes. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, God, you know, I don't think I ride that thing. So I walked over and I looked at the hour meter, and the hour meter said 26 hours. And that's from when I put the Panthera Motorsports E-Start and top end in the thing. So 26 hours is all I've done. And my brand new 125 already has 50 or 53. So I'm obviously not riding the thing. And it's just sitting there. And the market is perfect right now to sell something. So I'm like, well, all right. So I put the thing up for $5,000 on Facebook, and I get a call within just a few hours. The guy said, hey, is that thing still there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I want to come look at it. He comes down, takes a look at it. Turns out he's a father of one of my older son's good friends. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting this for my kid. I'm like, oh, man, that'd be awesome. So he's like, well, I'll let you know. So he leaves, calls back a couple hours later, said, I'll take it, dude. You know, in the ad I'd said I'd take, you know, $5,000 or best offer. I just wanted to sell it. And he's like, what's your or best offer? I said, like, I need $4,800. And he's like, all right, done deal. So he comes down. He's like, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow. Great. So the next day comes, he comes, hands me $4,800. And, you know, I take the money, put it in my pocket. I'm like, all right, go put this in the bank here, and I'll wait till the other bike shows up. And about 30 minutes after that, I get a call from Lincoln. He said, dude, you won't believe it, but the bike is here. So this is Thursday. He said, the bike is here. I pushed it to the front of the line for you. We're putting it together right now. You can come pick it up this afternoon. I'm like, what? So totally crazy. I mean, in my opinion, a complete miracle from God. I'm a Christian. I know not everybody is, but I honestly believe this is something directly from God, because we've been praying about this thing, my kid and I, all the way to Junction and back, and, you know, for a miracle. And so the thing's showing up. I go over to Davis. I'm like, listen, dude, I know MSRP is $4,800. I know you got to get tags or taxes and all that stuff. Can we do it for $4,800 out the door? He said, yeah, absolutely. So that's another miracle, because right now he could have and wouldn't have been out of line for selling that thing for like $5,500 plus all the stuff, because you can't find one. They don't exist. So he could have easily marked it up over MSRP to help make some money, because the margin, honestly, on these new bikes is not that good. And so he could have done it, but instead he gave me a discount, sells me the thing. So out the door, $4,800. So no money left my bank account, only a bike left, and that was okay because I wasn't riding it. So I'm super excited. I bring the thing down here. I put some of my old handguards on it. We get the thing ready. Put some just temp numbers on the thing. I'm like, let's go racing. So we go racing. Kid has a rough race. It was really hot and it was super hard, but he loves the bike. I mean, he's riding a brand new 2021 KX100. He's loving the thing. It's just awesome. And, you know, we have a great time. He races with me on Saturday. We did a team race, father-son. It was great. Then Sunday morning he races, has a good time. Like I said, tough race, but did great. Ended up 6th, which is awesome, in the Iron Mini class. And then it comes my turn to ride. So I get on the bike about 11 o'clock, I think. Anyway, I take off. I get 3 laps in. I come back around for a pit stop because my little 125 burns a ton of gas. I come in, and my boys are pitting for me, which is like huge, just so much fun. And so my younger boy's wiping my goggles. My older boy's pouring gas, and he goes, my older kid's like, Dad, they found Ewan's bike. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they found Ewan's bike. It's totally fine. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like, I'm racing here. I'm thinking to myself, God, I've got too much to process here. I'm trying to race a motorcycle, and now I'm finding out that the kid's bike is back. So we finished the race. I asked my wife. She's like, yeah, this person called me. So they got the bike. I'm like, what? So you know, I'm elated, just over the moon. I'm thinking, what does this thing look like? Because, you know, fell off the van. Who knows how fast I was going, where it was. So we get home. I call the people. I say, hey, this is Morgan. I'm the guy with that motorcycle you found. Like, okay, yeah. I'm like, where are you guys? Or we're in Delta. Give them the address. All right, great. So Monday comes. I take the boys. We go up there. And it had fallen off at probably the slowest area of the entire trip. Like the only place I'd be going that slow, other than at a stop sign. And it was laying in the middle of the road, and people were driving around it. And this gentleman sees it. He lives like just not far from where he saw it. He goes, gets his truck, comes back, picks it up, puts it in the truck, comes back, calls the sheriff's office. Sheriff's office says they'll come out and take a look at it, get the VIN, get the information. They never did, by the way, ever. Never came out. My wife, at the same time, had called Colorado State Patrol, Wyoming State Patrol, and the Delta County Sheriff, same people. They didn't put two and two together, so, you know, whatever. So it's sitting there for, a few days, and not very many days, obviously, and he doesn't know what to do. He's an older man, 73 years old, and he's not on the internet, doesn't have Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. So he calls his daughter-in-law. She comes over, takes a picture of the thing, puts it on Facebook, and fortunately, we have, a pretty huge social media following, and someone immediately sees it and recognizes it as ours. I mean, like, right away. So they convoluted whatever, get a hold of someone, get my wife's phone number, call her, and let her know. So we go pick the thing up. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong. Excuse me, that one. There's nothing wrong with that motorcycle. There's a couple little skins on the handguard on the side, and one little tiny piece of plastic is broken. But other than that, it's in the exact same condition it was when we put it up there. So it's just crazy. It's crazy how that thing worked out. And I really do believe, like I said, I know some of you are going to get upset that I'm talking about Jesus, but I think it's a Jesus thing. I really do. I think it's proof that he wants us to have fun. I think it's proof that he loves us, and I think it's proof that he loves kids because he took care of my kid and me, and I think it's huge. So I am just blown away. So I just don't even know what to say. So huge thank you to the people who found it and reported it. To my wife, massive thank you. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who knew about it and was worried about it and was saying prayers for us and all that stuff, because it's a big deal to this kid. He loves riding his motorcycle. I love riding with him. It's a really big thing. So now we have two KX100's. I asked him which one he wanted to keep. We can't afford to keep them both. So obviously he wants to keep the new one. I don't blame him. In fact, I was like, you should really keep the new one. So he's keeping the new one. We're going to sell the old one. We're asking $3,500 for it. I think that's a really fair deal. It's got a brand new motor in it. I got a couple things I got to fix from South Dakota, actually, not from the falling off the van. He tore a couple radiator hoses, so I got to fix that before I can actually sell it and just go through it. I want to make sure everything's good. Tip top. Nothing happened in the crash that I can tell, but I just want to make sure it's all good. So if anybody's interested in purchasing this thing, you can email me at morgan@highland-cycles.com. And we're going to sell that thing and use that money to, we're actually going to give some of that money away. And then the rest of it I'm going to use to put an awning on the side of my van. Anyway, guys, there's my story time. I hope you guys like that. It was crazy. It's just nuts how things work out. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels. And I desperately hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, race, and get out and ride your dirt bikes!